Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you're returning. Thank you so much for coming back and watching this week's video. I appreciate it a lot when you check in every week to watch me. Thank you so much. So today is very exciting. I'm going to be doing my very first All My Pets video. So this video is going to be showing and introducing, or like reintroducing, every single animal that I currently own. Some of these you may have already seen before, and lots of them you probably have not. So yeah, it is going to be a long video, so sit back, grab a snack, and stay hydrated because we have a lot to get through. We have a lot of cute faces to introduce. I hope you enjoy. Let's keep this short so we can just get through it. Yeah, so let's start off with my reptiles. So this is Clarence. Clarence is my 10-year-old, obviously adult bearded dragon. He is a 10-year-old, a very lazy boy. He's a very good boy though, and yeah, he came to me, he was rehomed to me from someone who was moving across the country and all around the country to their job and just couldn't take care of him anymore. And he was in other homes before that as well, so I am about, we guessed I was about his either 4th or 5th owner. This is Sandy. Sandy is my only female leopard gecko, and she is also the newest addition. She is by far the most chilled out gecko that I have. She's super content to just like sit on you and not move. She was also given to me, so I'm not exactly sure on her age, but she's probably getting close to 2 years old now. And then this is Percy, who I'll show really quick, who is the absolute opposite of Sandy. He is absolutely insane and will not sit still for a second. His eyes are a little funny because he came to me with like an eye infection or an injury to his eye, and so he does tend to sort of keep them closed, but he does do really well regardless. I don't even know if you can see him. He's absolutely insane. He's not very old, but he's crazy. So that's Percy. This is Loki. Loki is one of my 3 leopard geckos. He is my big boy. He was actually my very first reptile I ever got of my own, and he is also about 10 years old. I've had him for about 7 years. I did adopt him. He's very large and very beautiful, and he is the OG. These are my White's tree frogs. Their names are Benny and Jet. Benny is the bigger guy who's like stuck to the top, like right at the top, and Jet is the little guy at the bottom. I've had them for almost a year now, I think about 9 months, and they are very cool. I love them so much. I always wanted White's tree frogs like forever, and I finally got them, and I love them so much. They're such cool little frogs. They're super fun to watch. This is Sirius. He is my Chinese cave gecko. Sirius was another one that I adopted, though I really actually have no idea on his age. He could be like a year old or 2 years old. He could also be like 6. I'm really not sure. He is quite flighty and doesn't really like being handled, so I try not to disturb him too much. He's a cool dude. This is Spyro. Spyro is my fire skink. He is getting a ton better with being handled. He was pretty flighty when I first got him, but he's getting a lot more comfortable, which is awesome. He has sort of been a bit of a mood lately. He's been liking to try and bite me, but whatever. I love skinks. Spyro is the coolest dude ever, and I would have like 1,000 more different kinds of skinks if I could. So this is Mango. Mango is a 3-year-old Holland Lop. She's a very good girl, and she's very, very tiny. Even though Holland Lops are dwarfs, she is very, very small. This is Baby. Baby is only around a year old, and she is very spunky compared to a lot of my bunnies. She doesn't really like to be like held or cuddled. She would rather just be on the floor running around. She's just young, but she is a lot bigger than like some of my full-grown older rabbits. So she's just a big girl, chunky girl. This is Buttons. Buttons is probably my biggest rabbit. They are all Holland Lops, my rabbits, but Buttons just for some reason grew to be the biggest. She is about a year old as well, and she's just a big teddy bear. She really likes to be held and cuddled, and she begs for attention, and she is just like a little stuffed animal. She's so sweet. This is Max. Max is a very old bunny. He's probably getting close to about 8 or 9 maybe years old. I rescued him. He's blind, and he also has a permanently disfigured leg. This front one right here was obviously injured before I got him and never healed properly. It doesn't seem to hinder him too much, but it is there. He despite all his issues, he also has like bad ears and stuff. He still keeps going, and he still has a good appetite and a good attitude. He's definitely a little trooper. Little Max. This is Ebony, my big boy Holland Lop. He is about a year and a half old. He's very big and very chonky. He is also in the middle of molting, so he's got a funny haircut, but he's a good boy. He always finishes all of his dinner because he's a chonky boy. Ebony also has a condition called malocclusion, which means his teeth overgrow despite how many things you put in his cage for him to chew on, which also means he has to have his top and bottom teeth trimmed about every other week to keep them from growing insane and stopping him from eating and stuff. This is Fade. Fade is another big boy bunny. He is albino, as you can see. He's got bright pink eyes. He is very crazy. He likes to run laps, and his feet never stay white. He also has like a stain on his ear from something. I don't know why. He is also a bunny with quite a few digestive issues. He doesn't have a very good stomach, poor guy. He's very sensitive to a lot of different things. He's just a sensitive boy. This is Pixie. Pixie is a very old girl. She's almost 7 years old. She's also quite grumpy, but she'll tolerate being held. I think she's probably earned the right to be grumpy. She's been through a lot in her life, through different homes, through a lot of different stuff, so I think she's earned the right to be a little bit grumpy. This is Bugsy. Bugsy was the most recent addition with the rabbits. I have had him for about 6 months, I think. Maybe a little longer than that. But he really didn't like being held or touched or really anything when I first got him. But he doesn't mind it now. He still would rather not be touched. But he's doing pretty good. He's really big. I think he's the biggest of them all that I have. He's a little over 4 pounds, which is big for a Holland Lop because they are a dwarf breed. But he's a good boy. He really likes to run after your feet if he's on the floor and you're walking away from him. He likes to chase your feet and nibble on your toes and things, which is kind of awful, but whatever. That's Bugsy. So this is Flash. Flash is actually the direct brother of Bugsy. And then I also have their father, which is Fade, as you saw before. So I sort of have a whole little mini family. They get along really well, all of them. Flash and Bugsy are super close. They love each other. It's kind of nice to have like a little bunny family here, even if it wasn't intentional. So this is Ova. Ova is one of my bunnies who really doesn't like to be picked up or handled. She, as you can see, has no ears. She was over-groomed as a little tiny baby, and her mother groomed both of her ears off. This isn't uncommon. Usually it's just like one ear or a part of an ear, but she lost both her ears completely. Doesn't affect her other than she does get some like earwax buildup, more so than the others, but other than that, doesn't really affect her. She's about 6 years old. This is Honey. Honey is my Syrian hamster. I haven't had her all that long. The story behind her is that I went into PetSmart one day and my other hamster, my dwarf hamster, had recently passed away. I went and I did look at the hamsters, but I wasn't planning on getting one. But I overheard this PetSmart employee being extremely mean to this one little hamster, talking about it like he just like had a breakup with it. He was saying how mean she was and how she was just like she bit and she was just like not a good hamster. And so we left and I was crying in the car and my mom was like, "Do you want to go get the hamster?" And I was just like, "Yeah." And so I went back in and I brought Honey home. This is Chico. Chico is my only male chinchilla. He also was a rescue. He's a very good boy. He's very, very small. I think he's much smaller than my two girls. He's super friendly and will come up to the bars like whenever just to be pet and to beg for treats. He's about 8 years old, I do believe. That's still pretty young for chinchillas though. They can live up to 20 and even past 20 on some occasions. These are my two girl chinchillas. This is Snowball and Penelope. Snowball is the big white mama and Penelope is the standard gray and that's her daughter. Now these two were rescues big time. I saw an ad for them on Kijiji and they were stuffed in this tiny little all-wire cage. The person told me that they never handled them, they never got out of their cage, and they'd been in there, basically just stuck in there for a year, I think. Our Snowball is Penelope's mother. They are mother and daughter. They love each other. Obviously, they've got so much more room and space and a good diet, fun toys now. They are loving life. They are still pretty nervous. They have only just sort of come around to being pet and This is Kiwi, my green Quaker parrot or monk parakeet. They go by a couple different names. She is extremely bad and extremely sassy and likes to fly away any given chance. She was my first bird and I got her for my birthday when she was a little baby and she's been with me ever since. She is about 7 years old, 6 years old, and yeah, she's a very good girl but also a very bad girl. So this is Jasper. Jasper is my almost 30-year-old umbrella cockatoo. So the first 10 years of Jasper's life was really great. She was really, really loved and she got a ton of attention. She got let out a lot. She got brought everywhere with her family. And then the situation changed and for the next about 10 years she was locked up all the time. She had a big dark cover over her. She has definitely changed a lot personality wise. She's very unpredictable. She's not actively aggressive, however she's really, really easily spooked, and she's very unpredictable with when and if she's gonna bite. But we love Jasper very much and we're super happy to have her. So these are my conures. These two I rescued from a home that just wanted them as a breeding pair. They wanted them just to lay eggs and hatch eggs so they could sell the babies. And so they decided, well, if the birds aren't giving them what they want, then they don't want them anymore. They were stuck in a really small cage and they were not handled at all. Sweet Pea is more tame than her boyfriend Bullet. So this is Olive, one of my two hedgehogs. She was the one who was given to me and her kids were really, and the kids that lived like in the house that she was in were not very nice to her. As a result, she's really, really defensive and she's never really gotten very comfortable with being held or around people. She's also quite old for a hedgehog. She is coming up on 4 and she's also got some ongoing health issues as it is. So unfortunately, I don't think Olive is going to be around a whole lot longer. But while she is, I just try to make her as comfortable as possible. I try not to hold her a lot because that's how just scared she is. This is Sweet Pea, my second female hedgehog. She also is really old now. She's nearing 5 years old. She's become a lot like grumpier over the last little while, and I think that's just because she's getting old. She's not tolerating handling or anything as much as she used to. She used to be extremely friendly and outgoing, but I do just think that's because she's getting old. This is Badger. Badger is my ferret, as you can see. He is about 4.5, and I rescued him. They couldn't take care of him anymore, and she came out with him in her purse and handed him to me through my car window with a bag of Meow Mix, which is what he was eating. He is now obviously onto a much better food, and he's doing great. These are my rats. These are my female Dumbo rats. They are about 3 months old. This is Rory. This is Lorelei. Props if you get that reference. They're super sweet, super friendly. They really like to give kisses. They're adorable, and they've stolen my heart. These are my first rats. I've never had rats before, but I really love them a lot. They're so friendly. I can't believe how awesome they are and great they are. So this is Rory. Rory's a little bit smaller than Lorelei, and she's a lot more fidgety too. She doesn't like to be held for as long. They're both sort of full of it right now. And this is Lorelei. Lorelei is a little bit bigger. She's also a little more laid back. They're both giving me kisses, probably because my hands are sweaty because it's hot and they're salty. So this is Gizmo, one of my cats. She's also the best cat that we own, because she's Gizmo. She's not very smart, but we love her anyways, and she does her best. She's a tortie girl. She's very fluffy, long hair, and she's about 8 years old. She's the oldest cat that we own. She's a very good girl, and I love her very much. This is Smudge, one of my other cats. She is a very strange cat. She's very small, tiny, and sometimes I think she's kind of part alien because you frequently find her trying to climb walls. She's very strange. She's very aloof, but she's a good cat. She's a good tiny girl. She's not chunky at all. She's very small. This is Penny. This is Smudge's sister. She is about 10 times the size of Smudge though. A lot less aloof too. She's more of a people cat, but she doesn't really like being held. She'll just go to someone come and like sit on you. She likes the outdoors. We built a catio for her just so she can be safe but also be outdoors. And she's a very chunky girl. This is Spicy. Spicy is an enormous cat. He's huge. He too likes the outdoors, so he goes in the catio and on the deck and stuff. This is Scooter. Scooter is my Dachshund. He is an older boy. I think he's around 9. And he's very round and very cylindrical. He's a sausage dog. We rescued him when he was about 10 months old. Yeah, he's a very good boy. He knows one trick, and his one trick is roll over. He's very good at it, and he pees when you pick him up. So he's basically a perfect dog. He's a good, very good boy. Very good sausage boy. This is Duke. Duke was supposed to be a Dachshund. He came to us. He was like a rescue. He came to us as like a Dachshund. But he's got very lengthy limbs, so he's probably not full Dachshund. He's probably got some sort of terrier or mini pin or something in him. He's kind of got a terrier attitude. But he's also a pretty good boy. He's about 10, I think. He came to us when he was 10 months old as well. We did not get him and Scooter at the same time. These are my last 2 dogs, Daisy and Irwin. Daisy is the poodle and Irwin is my border collie Australian Shepherd cross. Daisy was a rescue. We got her when she was 2 years old. She was going to be put down, so we got her. She's 12 years old now. And she's still doing great. And then Irwin is 5 years old. We got him when he was a puppy. Irwin is extremely smart and knows a lot of tricks. And he also is obsessed with his ball. So this is my 20-gallon freshwater, live planted community fish tank. It has a nice little school of rasboras in here. It's got a couple of dwarf gouramis, a little school of cories, and a couple of snails in it. Oh, and it's also got a bristlenose pleco that I do plan on moving into my bigger 35-gallon tank when it's all up and running, but he's okay in here for now. This is one of the 2 fish tanks that I have in my room. This is my 10-gallon planted beta tank. There is 1 male Dumbo beta in it and a mystery snail. This is like my newest setup tank, whatever, my newest tank, but it's been up for a while. And it's doing pretty well. I love this beta. He is so cute. He's so pretty. This tank here is underneath it on like the shelf under the tank. 10-gallon up top. This is a 5.5-gallon planted beta tank. It contains, again, 1 male beta and a mystery snail. You can see him swimming around there. There he is. So lastly, these are my 2 horses. Now one of them is actually my mom's. My horse is the first guy here. This is Banjo. Banjo I got when he was 6 years old. He is a retired off-the-track race horse. He was injured, and so he was sent to a rescue where I adopted him when I was 9. I've had him for 10 years now, so we've sort of grown up together. He means the absolute world to me, and he's my best friend. I love him so much. And Nikki is my mom's horse. Nikki is 13 years old. She is a quarter horse. My mom's had her since she was 10 months old. She is a big girl. Yeah, and I sort of grew up with her as well. I remember being very young when we first got her. So that wraps things up. Those are all of my pets. Obviously I do have a lot. In no way, shape, or form do I ever advocate anyone else to have as many pets as I have. It's definitely not a lifestyle or realistic for everyone. I hope you enjoyed meeting everyone, and if you'd like to see more of them and more of me, do hit subscribe, hit like if you liked the video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope I see you again next week with another video. Have a great week. Bye.